What's going on? Ryan here, SethBasedTriathlon.com, and we are live. And we're going to do another video talking about the past race at IRONMAN Des Moines, 2022 version, which was a full Ironman. 2021 was a 70.3, as will be 2023. But we're going to talk about check-in, just the check-in experience, real quick. If you got any questions, I got the live feed pulled up. So if you got any comments or anything like that, throw them out there and be happy to answer them live while we're doing the video. Or if you see this video later, you can add a comment in your Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I get notifications. I'll answer them as best of my ability. But I just wanted to talk about the experience of doing the actual check-in. The 70.3 is a little bit different than the full. 70.3 usually can check in the day before. A full Ironman, you cannot check in the day before. It's got to be the 2 days before. So you look at the IRONMAN Des Moines website to determine the date. Maybe they'll bring back the full. I don't know. But you could see the race was on Sunday, so they had check-in Thursday and Friday. And notice no athlete check-in on Saturday. If you have extenuating circumstances, I know that there's like flights being canceled, delayed, and all that kind of good stuff. So there's a number on the it's actually in the athlete guide, but it's also in the contact area here. So if you need to connect to Ironman for the race for any information and the contact information, they had a phone number, they had an email. So if for some reason for the full you needed to check it in on Saturday, and you had extenuating circumstances, then it could be possible that you can get connected and get that done. But fulls, the day before, usually you cannot check in. The 70.3s, the day before, and 2 days before, you can check in. So the race is on Sunday, Friday, and Saturday is check in, but you got to be careful because Saturday is also usually bike drop off. So a lot of stuff happening if you're checking in on Saturday morning, dropping your bike off, and getting all set up and everything for a 70.3. But I just want to go over, especially you go over the event schedule. So the check-in is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's pretty much open most of the day. And then Friday had open an hour earlier. And then Saturday the day before for a full, there's no check-in. But usually they'll have it like 9 to 5 or something like that the day before for 70.3 event schedules. I like to pull this map up because this gives you a good frame of reference specifically for this race because it's a little bit more unique. It's a one transition race, but it's kind of spread out over Des Moines around downtown. So you got Waterworks Park as transition, so there's no check-in going on here. Parking lot to get to transition. This is where the Iron Kids Fun Run was, so it's not really as important to the check-in process. But Cow's Common right here, this is where Ironman Village and everything was going on, and this is the finish line. So that transition, finish line, and then check-in area and parking, that was all the same for the 70.3 in 2021, probably pretty similar in 23. But the swim, start, and finish was a little bit different area, but it was all in Grays Lake. So just to give you a good frame of reference, everything, Ironman Village, check-in, expo, everything's going on in Cow's Commons. So you look at Google's Maps, and you can zoom in here. I stayed for the 2022 version. I stayed right here downtown, walked across the street, got a great rate because I made my reservations way in advance when prices were kind of low and they spiked, and I got very fortunate because it's a little bit pricey to stay downtown. In 21, I did stay outside of town, kind of south of downtown, and it was the end of the world. They have plenty of parking and everything, but I stayed down by the airport, so I was a little bit closer down here. But if you stay downtown, you're pretty close to where the action's happening here at and I lost my way. It's easy to lose your way when you don't pay attention to what you're doing. So basically, you're downtown here in Des Moines. Here is the park, and here is Cow's Commons. So if you always get lost on your map, you can always find a little park here going on, and then Cow's Commons is right over here. So this is where the check-in, they pretty much rope off this entire area, and they had the tents and everything set up here. They had the stage for announcements and everything. So athlete briefings happen here. The welcome ceremony for full happened here, and this is where check-in. Now, here's where it's a little bit different. For the half, they had check-in. They just had a tent. You go in there like usual, check in, and you go through the merch tent, and you're off and running through the expo. Now, for the full, they actually had us inside in this building right here, so I'll show you a few photos of that. So it was nice. It was inside. It was getting a little bit warm, so it was nice to be inside, kind of an air-conditioned space, a little bit less stuff going on. So we had like our little check-in process, and they had a little gated or fenced-off area. So they had maps hanging up in there. So if you wanted to see what the course looks like, the shuttle information, any kind of whatever's going on. They had that all in the check-in area, so it was kind of low key, laid back. I checked in on Friday morning, first thing. They're also open Thursday. So really, I mean, for the full, I think total of 1,100 people checked in, and there's like 860 finishers. So it's really not indicative of 3,000 person Ironman race. So usually there's a little bit more of a line. So it wasn't as big of a deal. But you pick up your all world athlete packet if you got that from previous years. You could pick up your VIP information there. VIP was actually out in Cow's Commons in a tent. They had a little tent set up for VIP. If you got that kind of stuff going on, you can pick that up there. But really, it was a smooth process. All around here, they got this huge parking garage right here. They got parking garages kind of all over downtown. Parking garage here that's really not that far of a walk. Just down the street. You could go on if it's raining, you can go on the skywalks all over downtown. It's really convenient to walk around and not really get wet or anything like that. If it's raining or if it's super hot, stay inside in the air conditioning, except when you're out here at the Ironman Village. But basically, check in. You roll into the parking garage, especially if you're doing the half. It's on a Sunday and you're checking in on Saturday. When you roll in, parking's free downtown on Saturday, so you wouldn't have to pay a dime. You just come in here, you park, you can walk downtown. When I did the half, I didn't quite know where I was going and what I was doing per se. I didn't understand parking garages and stuff, so I think I parked in a parking lot kind of a little bit here south of downtown and just kind of walked over. It really wasn't that far. It wasn't that bad. Just kind of walked up the street into the Cowles Commons, into the Ironman Village, and did my check-in. But in retrospect, there's plenty of parking downtown. Easy access to get there. Really not like super crowded downtown. It's not super busy, super heavy traffic particularly in this area of downtown in Des Moines. So basically, you could just park in the parking garage, walk over, spend your time over here, get checked in, go through the expo, Ironman Village, the tent, the merch tent, all your stuff. You can stay for an athlete briefing. So pretty much all happens here. So like I said in the previous lodging video, if you're debating where you're going to stay for the race, I definitely highly recommend downtown, especially for the full. There's a lot going on. You walk across the street. The only thing going on for transition before the race is just dropping your gear off, and especially the 70.3 as well. But it's really not that difficult. Hop in your car, drive down here, drop your stuff off. They opened up the access road for us to park for this year. I imagine they'll carry that over for 23. I don't think they really have any problems. So you just drop all your stuff there and then head back downtown and camp out and have your good times. Especially with downtown, they've got a Hy-Vee that's like right down the road from Cowles Commons. So you can see right here, Hy-Vee grocery store. So you just walk down like not even 2 blocks, like half a block, and you're right there. And they got Bong's Pizza. That's where we had our dinner. They got all kinds of farmers markets. They got all places to eat. They've got Insomnia cookies, which, see if we can zoom in here. You can see there's Hy-Vee. Here we go. Insomnia cookies. I highly recommend them. They are super awesome, and their food, their cookies and ice cream is really super good. Really hit the spot after doing the full when it was so freaking hot out there. But so check in. It was really a seamless process. Go in there. You have your little QR code. You should get an email. Most races these days, you're getting your email. You pick a time slot. You check in. Try to stay close to that time slot. It's not super strict, but if worse comes to worse, you don't want them to have to make some sort of exception because you're way outside your window or something. Try to do it as best as you can. You get there at that time, and it's a really smooth process, especially with the check-in process. It spreads people out, so there's not super huge long lines. They're not going to run out of stuff. They're not going to run out of t-shirts. They're not going to run out of gear bags. They're not going to run out of backpacks. They got plenty. They're prepared for all the people doing the race. So just get there, get checked in, do what you need to, head out the Ironman Village Expo, the merch tent, all that good stuff. Check out all the vendors. Stay there for an athlete briefing. And then, whatever you got going on, if you're there for the full, then stay for the welcoming ceremony. That's it was Friday night, so you can time it all to where you're just hanging out in Ironman Village for that whole time. If it gets warm, there's plenty of places to go inside. Like I said, you could go in the area where they're doing the check-in. It's just kind of a big lobby, so if it's super hot, you can go there and cool off or whatever. Really, it was pretty straightforward. Like I said, get your email, pick your time slot, take the QR code, they scan the QR code, you sign all your paperwork like usual, show your driver's license. I didn't have to show my USAT card because once you sign up, it automatically checks that, so they're not as checking with that. But bring your USAT card just in case. and really go through. Make sure you get your backpack, your gear bags if you're doing a full, any other swag, t-shirts or anything else they're doing there. Grab it all and then hit the road, and then you're off and running. So really, the check-in process was pretty smooth. Like I said, you just got to plan on being downtown, plenty of parking, plenty of access. I've done other races where it's out at like a reservoir and packed. Parking is just like a freaking nightmare, and they charge for it. Parking downtown was nice on Saturdays. They didn't charge for it. Even if they do charge for it, it was like a couple bucks, and it's really not that bad at all. To just get in there and get parked, and there's like this thing's just huge, so there's plenty of spaces down there. Especially, we rolled in like Thursday afternoon, and there's plenty of spots in there. Friday, plenty of spots. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, there's more than 2/3 of this parking garage is open, so really not a problem. Other than that, I didn't see any other questions while we're going through here. Hopefully, this kind of helps you out in the process of knowing what to do when you get there. Like I said, this is where check-in is. There's no parking really on the streets, so find a parking garage, use Google Maps, get there, get parked, walk over, get your check-in done, and all that kind of stuff. Try to time it to where you're there for an athlete briefing or something so you can see that, and then go about your business. So with that, I didn't see any comments, didn't see any questions, and I want to wrap it up. So hopefully this helps you out, and I will see you next time on the next video. Hit like if you're watching on Facebook. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube to get future notifications of any videos I do for Des Moines or any other races or just triathlon tips in general. With that, hopefully this helps you out. Happy training out there, and we'll see you at the finish line.